Oh yeah, it's Paul Gilson Live. Yeah, this is the Paul Gilson YouTube channel. And we're having a little fireside chat here on Saturday night. Yeah, it's the 26th of July. So we're going to be smoking a cigar tonight. I have a beautiful Macanudo. It's probably a 55 gauge with a Maduro wrapper. That's what I'm going to be smoking tonight. So, yeah. So we're going to have a little fireside chat for Saturday, July 26th. Yeah. So grab whatever the hell you want. It's a gorgeous fire too. Let me tell you. You know, uh, if I can get this turned around, yeah. Got a beautiful fire going right there. Yep. I actually started this video earlier, and then the Greek lady from across the street, very nice lady, came over, and we ended up having a chat for about an hour. So I had like 4 minutes into the video, and I was just like, boom, I turned it off. I was like, she had a son that passed away, and 8 months ago, fentanyl overdose, fucking drug dealers, and she just needed to talk. So that's what we did. And the girl next door, I tossed her ass to the curb. Yeah, the reason why I did is because we were supposed to have a campfire, and she came over, and her landlord, who's a friend of mine, stopped over, and he said, oh, if you're going to date my tenants, you have to pay rent. And she didn't like that. She took offense to that, like she was property that, you know. She's a black girl, all right? They got issues, I guess. I don't know. So I was like, look, just let it go, you know. But she couldn't let it go. And she's like, Richard, I'm leaving. I was like, all right, bye-bye. Thought about it overnight. Grabbed all the food she had in my refrigerator. All that stuff. I was like, I don't need any of this bullshit. I'm too old for this shit. I don't give a hell if she's 33 years old and I'm 60. I don't need it. Don't want it. Ain't gonna have it. You're out of here. Tossed to the curb. Yeah. Yeah, so I need zero drama in my life. That is one fine cigar. Oh yeah. That's so smooth I can inhale it. Oh. So most of you will probably be watching this video tomorrow because it's, I don't know, it's 9:15 at night. I started the video at like 8:15, and then my Greek friend Cleo, she came over at like 8:15 when I was like 4 minutes into the video, and I was just like, oh no, she needs me. Yeah, so I just ended it. I don't inhale the cigar every time I take a drag off of it, but if I want to inhale it, I do. Like now. Yeah. What a beautiful night. What a beautiful campfire. Yeah. Life's too short for any ounce of drama or any of that stuff, you know. I have no room in my life for any drama, arguing, any of that stuff. There's just zero tolerance. And this Macanudo cigar So good. There's no way I'll ever be able to read which one it is, but it's a Macanudo with, it's 55 gauge by 5 inches long, and it has a Maduro wrapper. That's all you need to know. Just like I was saying before, most of you will probably see this video tomorrow, you know, by the time I'm done with it and upload it and so forth, you know. So I don't know why, but for some reason, I was tired today. I just kind of stayed in bed most of the day. I was exhausted. I think probably it was the heat being 90 to 95 degrees all week. And then being 110 in the factory, I think it just beat me up. I don't know. Oh, yeah. This cigar is so good. We got to get a beer going on. Oh, yeah, cheers. We got a Pabst Blue Ribbon. Yep. So, cheers. Throw that on the beer pile. I'll collect them all tomorrow morning. That is one good cigar. That's one really good cigar. So yeah, the black girl next door, she didn't, we were sitting out front talking around 5 o'clock yesterday. And then her landlord, who happens to be a friend of mine, you know, small world, stopped over and was like, yeah, well, if you're going to date my tenants, you got to pay rent. And she's black, all right? She probably instantly thought of slavery or something stupid like that, you know, some bullshit that's bogus. And after he left, she's like, I don't like that guy. I was like, honey, just let it go. Just don't worry about it. It doesn't matter, you know. No, it does matter to me, you know. She's getting that head moving. I don't know what I said to her. Obviously, I said something she didn't like because she just stood up out of her chair. I was sitting on the front steps and said, Richard, I'm leaving. We had plans for dinner and a campfire. Richard, I'm leaving. I was like, all right, see you later. What did I do wrong? No answer. I was like, fine, I'll only ask you once. I will only ask you once. At 60 years old, I have no time for bullshit. So I let her walk. Didn't text her, didn't call her. She's probably checking her phone all night long. Oh, is he going to text me saying what's wrong? Is he going to apologize? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to do any of that, all right? I don't need bullshit, all right? I'll let it go. I thought about it till this morning. I was like, you know what? I don't need this shit. She had a pot over here, a can opener over here. She had some food over here. I collected it all up in a bag. Washed the pan out. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm all done. I don't need this BS. I don't know what was up with you last night, but you were unfair and unkind to me. So, yeah, we're all done. And all the food you had here and your can opener and your pot is in a bag on your front porch. I'm done. And she's just like, okay. I don't need any of that. It just feels so relieved. Who needs any of that shit at 60 years old? Oh. Yeah. I don't. I'd rather be alone. Thank God we didn't have sex or anything, you know. I told her right up front, look, here's the deal. We can become friends, we can establish a relationship, but there's going to be no physical stuff. And that's why you don't put the physical stuff first. When I was in my 20s, it was different. It was the 1980s, and everyone was just out to party and fuck, okay? The girls wanted to party and fuck. The guys wanted to party and fuck. All right, that's what we did in the 1980s. But we all had an agreement. We were just out to party and fuck, okay? There was no relationships. We were just partying and fucking. And those were great times. I wouldn't want to live those days today as an older man, but as a guy in my early 20s, mid-20s, those were really great times, and I look back on them fondly. I'm sure God would not approve of that lifestyle, but that's what I did. That's the life I had. And I don't regret it. I certainly don't regret it. Going out to clubs, girls with a big teased hair, you know, they had big hair, short leather mini skirts, nice tops, buttoned up, you know, halfway down to their chest, push-up bras, fishnet stockings. Who wouldn't have loved those days as a young man? You'd have to be crazy not to love those days. But those days are gone. They're folded in the past chapters of my life. And they were great. Oh, when I tell you they were great days, they were great days. So I got to sow my wild oats for a good number of years. I don't choose to live that way anymore. Actually, in today's society, it's not like that anymore. Today's days in the bar and the club scene is nowhere near like the 1980s. The 1980s were something very, very special. We were raised by parents that were born in the 40s, all right? We grew up in the 60s, and by the 80s, we were young adults. And yeah, it was good. Life was really, oh man, I could tell you stories. But that was then. That was my season to be wild. That was my season to have drug experiences, heavy drinking, sexual escapades, fast cars. That was the season at that point in my life. And that's not there anymore. And I appreciate what I had. Oh man, it was so much fun at the time. It wouldn't be fun now though. At 60 years old, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to live that way. I've improved my walk with the Lord, and God would not like that lifestyle. It was a hedonist lifestyle, but it was fun. You wouldn't appreciate that now. I walk with Him every day. I walk with the Lord every day. Can't walk with the Lord and live like that. I thought I could back then. I thought I was walking with the Lord. I said, Jesus, take the wheel. I remember one night, me and a buddy, we went out to this club in Rochester, and I was probably about 26 years old, and he was probably like 21. And he's still a great friend of mine. I had a Dodge Stealth V6 5-speed stick shift, 3.0 liter, I think it was. It wasn't they made a twin turbo Vision, but it wasn't the twin turbo. But let me tell you, that car was fast. The speedometer went up to 165, and that car, I know for a fact it would do 130. So me and a buddy one night, we went out. My good friend Timothy, who's still a great friend of mine, we went out one night and we went to this bar in Rochester, a club. And it was kind of a cool, interesting club. It had two sides to it. It had a hard rock side where they played like classic rock, all that stuff. Then on the other side, there was two doors that would go to the other side of the bar, which was huge. And that was the disco side. So we went there one night, and I remember shooting pool, and then I drank so much beer. I didn't remember much after that. So the next day we go to work, and back then you could drink so much that you couldn't remember, but still go to work the next day somehow. So I go in, and he's like, "Hey man, did you have fun last night?" I was like, "Yeah." He says, first thing he says, he's like, "Man, you pissed off a lot of people last night." I was like, "What do you mean? What did I do wrong?" He's like, "Well, you didn't act drunk, but you were so relaxed that nobody was able to beat you in pool. I beat every single person that came up." Back then, what you would do, you'd put your quarters up on the table. When it was your turn, put your quarters in, you'd rack them up, and you'd play a guy. And then if you won, the next guy that had his quarters up, you'd play against him. I didn't lose one game that night, and everyone was getting mad because it's like, what the hell, And then he's like, "By the way, where'd you learn to drive like that?" And I was like, "Drive like what?" It's like, "What do you mean drive like what?" He says, you were going down West Henrietta Road at 135 miles per hour in a 35 zone, weaving in and out of traffic. Where did you learn to drive like that? I was like, wait, well, what? I was doing 135. He's like, yeah, you were doing 135 and you were doing 150 down the expressway. It's like, oh my God. I'm lucky I didn't kill somebody. I didn't even remember it. Weaving in and out of traffic, that's a busy road, you know. And it's a 35 mile an hour zone. It's like, oh, geez, you know. That really scared me. And then, you know, after that, I was like, I just can't drive this car and drink, you know. Back then, you know, everybody would drink and drive, you know. Nowadays, you don't dare to, you know. Back then, it was stupid to do, you know. What the hell was I thinking, you know? But, you know, you're 25 years old or whatever. So that's my stories, and I'm sticking to it. Hope you enjoyed our fireside chat tonight on a Saturday night. Yeah. I love all you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all the comments, everything, you know. I appreciate people that watch my channel. I really do. It's starting to rain a little bit. Anyways, I'm Paul the Pipe Guy. Over. But not out. And God bless you all. Yeah.